For this exercise, we are going to do a passive range liftoff. So for wrist flexion. So we are working on building our strength and turning our passive range of motion and flexibility into active range of motion and mobility, just building strength in those ranges of motion that are towards our end ranges. So for this exercise, you're going to get set up in your wrist flexion position. So depending on what you're able to tolerate, you can lean into this. Maybe you have to back out a little bit, but we're gonna go into wrist flexion, which is going to be placing the back of your hand on the ground and then pulling back into that position. So we wanna keep all of this stuff glued to the ground as we're backing out of it so we can get a nice flexion angle here. This would be your passive range of motion, what you're able to pull yourself into. We just should not push into any pinching sensation in the wrist here. Once you're there, we're going to contract the underside forearm muscles. So all of this stuff, like we are actively trying to bring our palm towards our forearm more. So we're kind of pulling ourselves into that more, right? Then from here, we're going to slowly lean out of it and try to bring our palm with us. So we are trying to do that until our knuckles can clear the ground. And then we are going to hold that position for the 3 to 5 seconds or 10 up to 30 seconds, depending on what you are doing for your training session that day. And then you're going to reset and come back into that position. That would be 1 rep of that exercise. So again, when we are leaning out, we are using all of these muscles to actively try to pull our palm towards our forearm. Now, how far you have to lean out of it before you're able to get these knuckles and this top part of your hand off the ground is the difference between how much passive range of motion you have and how much active flexibility and strength you have. Over time, you are trying to minimize how far you have to lean out of that position, and that will show that you are turning a lot more of your flexibility into active strength and usable mobility, which is always the goal for improved performance and reduced injuries. So try to progress over time, but remember, a lot of this mobility stuff takes very long, so be patient. Don't push into any pain. And as long as you do this regularly, your body should adapt and you should feel like you are slowly gaining a lot more access to more of your range of motion.